beautiful, make it beautiful. Age of new beginnings, make it beautiful.
Come on. That's what we do here.
Make it beautiful, make it beautiful.
Come on.
Healer. He has, you know what? I'm going to let Steve share Steve because nobody knows him better than him. So go ahead, baby doll, do your stuff.
Well, first off, thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Carla. My name is Steve Interante, and I am a certified hypnotherapist and past life regressionist, and I assist people through mindfulness and mindfulness meditation. I also are affiliated with Integrated Energy Therapy, but I like to spend most of my time helping people understand the changes that are going on within ourselves now, and those people who recognize that there is more than to just being a name and a vocation and survival techniques. I've been paying attention and watching some of your other guests. They've been absolutely amazing. And many people now are starting to really awaken and understand their truth and their spiritual growth, which is so wonderful. It really is. So as a past life regressionist, I've developed my own modality called soul recognition therapy, which is entitled that, and I feel resonating with that because not everyone goes into a past life when they go into regression. Some people are experiencing their higher self or even future selves, and that's really amazing. So recognizing who your soul is, why we're here, experiencing these wonderful changing times that we're in, as difficult as they are for many of us to have to make sacrifices and sequester ourselves and protect ourselves from being infected, so to speak. I think all three of us would agree, and the many people who are watching and the people that are on the spiritual path, that this is a wake-up call, this is a reset button, this is an opportunity for all of us to really assess what is working in our lives, what isn't working in our lives individually, as well as the collective. So I do hold mindfulness meditation sessions on a daily basis on Zoom. People are invited to come in. I utilize sound healing as well. I'm a musician. I play saxophone. I run that 70s band, and I've been a musician since I was 7, so that's about 50 plus years. So I really resonate with vibration and frequencies, and I'm now recognizing in my spiritual growth how important sound and frequencies are, and allowing ourselves to really tune in to assess. So that's basically it in a nutshell, and I'm grateful to be here to share this with you.
Every word that you're saying is what me and Carla believe on every show, because it's teaching the people we hold dear how to access your soul and the energy, and to raise yourself up to be in a better place. Instead of worrying about the past, worrying about the future, it's being in the moment, connecting to all that is, and enjoying life. And being a hypnotist, you're amazing at cleansing and clearing blocks. So you did a process, you sent a video. If you were to share a little bit about what you do in your process and what people experience on how to move into the higher essences of their own awakening, that would be wonderful.
Okay, sure. Let me separate the two. Hypnotherapy is an extremely effective and beneficial way for people to rewire the way they think, particularly when it comes to anxiety and stress, their feelings of worthiness. Some people quit smoking, some people are going to lose weight, all those sort of things. But I like to focus more on the actual human side of it, where it's about you and your ability to de-stress and release the anxiety. So whether it's hypnosis or past life regression, the beginning stages are what we call induction. So it's normally you laying down in a relaxed state. Many of you who meditate already pretty much have been there before, where you're emptying the mind of thoughts and you're replacing them with sensations and breath and a feeling of inner energy field, inner aliveness. So it's within that state where we as the facilitator encourage you to go within, to release attachments to your circumstances, your stuff, your name, your vocation, your survival techniques, to where you just feel this inner essence. Then it's assisting you in almost transcending time and space, where you actually feel like you're just floating. And this is what I've been communicated to before by many of my clients. And I've also studied pretty extensively Dolores Cannon, who is prominent, a very famous past life regressionist. So in this state, we have you feel as if you're traveling through time and space, whether you choose to have one of your guides or angels with you in assisting this to make you feel more at ease and not analyze the process. Then we bring you towards what I like to utilize is a light, a central focal point in which you're traveling towards, and that light becomes brighter and brighter, and you become in this light, this ocean of light. My technique is to utilize the vision of a silhouette of a door or a gateway or a portal, and then we bring you to the steps of this door. And in my sessions, we record them so that you can actually describe to us what the door looks like. What does it feel? And then we enter into this space. Each person's experience is different. I've had people go back to ancient Egypt 5,000 years ago and describe to us that her mother back in that particular time was actually her 13-year-old daughter in this lifetime, because we travel in soul groups, and the meaning was just so healing for her in this particular lifetime, dealing with the situations that she has been. I've had a client go back 400,000 years to the beginning stages of humanity, where we were just here and describe in detail what it was like, what it felt like, and really there. But more importantly, and I was alluding to earlier, many people now are starting to connect to their higher self, their soul, and describing and tuning in and channeling higher wisdom. Why are we here? What is this situation? What is being a human all about? Why are we ascending to a higher state of consciousness, of love, of shedding this three-dimensional existence that is fear-based and limited? There are many, many reasons for that, and we're receiving some really very, very interesting and valuable information, and it's very healing as well. So that's in a nutshell. People describe this as being very soothing. They're always aware of my voice, their position, but not in their human self, and aren't fully capable of describing it. Mm-hmm.
They're going into their subconscious, so it's kind of a dimensional aspect of themselves. And when you find, as you do that, because I do something similar, but you're saying it so eloquently that it explains why we have relationships the way we do with our friends, our mothers, or people in our lives, that it's not the first time that we connect with them. You know, so if we have animosity that we can't explain, it's because we might have had that in a past life. So during this process, you're able to clear, understand, shift relationships and your perception of relationships.
Absolutely. That's very well said, Ellen. It's perfect because, in fact, we've lived many, many lives, more than you think. If you study Dolores Cannon, it's very exciting. It really is. This lifetime that we're in, we all chose to be here. We volunteered to be a part of this grand awakening of humanity, this amazing opportunity for humanity that's never happened in our human existence, where we're moving into a higher phase of consciousness. We chose to be here. So many of our lifetimes have rolled over into this one, in which we are now subconsciously, and many of us now consciously, that's the whole key, is to invite in presence, and that's where the mindfulness comes in, to where you're paying attention to what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what's happening outside of you, what's happening inside of you. It starts to make sense, And you have, because we have free will, we can make choices in our everyday life that are in alignment with our truth, our soul's journey and contract.
Now, what I've experienced is when people pass, they shift into another essence of themselves, and they do, from what I had heard, kind of looking back on things, and they end up going into, when they divinely done, they go into another lifetime. So souls never die. So what makes us sad is our human connection of how we perceive these people, and understanding that energetically that we can connect to people on any side of the veil. When we quiet ourselves, let's say somebody is in France, I mean, on this earth plane, and we connect to their soul essence, we can kind of get a feel of them, connect with them, or on the other side. So everything we start to realize is just an illusion. Do you agree?
Totally. We are experiencing this so that we can assist human consciousness to rise to a higher level of awareness. So yes, everything that you think, and you very eloquently put it, we can heal other people distance. There are a number of people maybe listening here, or more and more people are becoming Reiki certified. I myself are certified in advanced integrated energy therapy. Yes, it's really nice to have a certificate you can put on your wall and say, hey, I'm a Reiki master. That's really nice. However, the fact is, all of us have this potentiality, and we're waking up to this now, and we can will things to happen. And when you connect to your inner energy, that spark crystalline white light that's within us, and it's and we tap into that energy, you can project it, whether they're in France, whether on the other side of the planet, whether it's you. So it's important that we understand this. We're starting to wake up to this fact that we are much more powerful than we can ever imagine. We are a divine, powerful soul inside a physical body. We have 5 senses. We have an ego. We have a personality. We have free will. And this condition that we call social, trying to survive, trying to get through the limitations and the doubts and the fears. It's amazing to watch more and more people understand this true, authentic part of themselves now. It's exciting to assist them, to help them recognize this. I think you, me, Carla, and all the other people that are studying this and utilizing this awareness are, I guess we can call ourselves way showers, because we're showing other people, hey, you know what? It's right here. It's always been. Don't forget. Don't get stuck in your ego and your fears and your survival mode 24/7. Tap in, tap in, tap in, and that's where the magic happens. And it's wonderful to be a part of it.
You are spectacular. You have your own production company. You do meditations. You do cruises of different people that you have, different teachers that you work along with to help co-create healings in so many magical ways. I adore what you do. Is there a thing that you can do at this particular moment in time, if you're open to, whether it's a light meditation or a light assist, to maybe people who are listening that can hear your voice, experience something beautiful, and maybe have some sort of a clearing done? Would you be open to that?
Sure. Yeah, I would love to, absolutely. This is one of the things that I love to do. It's mindfulness meditation. Now, if you've read, many people have, and more and more people are becoming more in tune with Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now, A New Earth, Alan Watts, Deepak Chopra, Dr. Wayne Dyer, the list goes on, Abraham Hicks, the list goes on and on and on. It's called Inviting Presence In. So here we are, we're sitting here, you and I are talking, we have Carla on the phone, and we have other people maybe watching or will watch later on, and we're in this dimension of conversation, and we can feel ourselves. We first recognize that we are multidimensional beings, so we can shift in between dimensions. So we do that with intention. So let us now, for a minute, 60 seconds, choose to become present into the present moment. The objective is to empty our mind of thoughts and replace them with our inner world, our inner being, which primarily is the breath. The second you were born, you began to breathe. And every second since, you've been breathing in this life force energy that's outside of us. When we don't recognize that, we think we're just breathing and we're going about our day. In fact, you don't even recognize that you are breathing. But it is the most vital life source we have. Trees emit oxygen, we breathe it in. We emit carbon dioxide, they bring it in, transmute it back. So in essence, we're connected to nature and all that is. So for 60 seconds, let's just start. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, just sit still, have the intention of redirecting your awareness to how your body breathes. Just follow the air travel in through your nostrils, through your windpipe, expanding your chest, and then releasing. Just follow breath after breath after breath after breath. You don't need to think about it, analyze it, or label it. Just connect to the aliveness, the inner energy field. You can feel your heart beating side by side with your breath. It's the epicenter of your existence. So just tune into it without thinking about it. You begin to notice that your awareness of your physical body is settling in. You recognize an inner calm, an inner ease. So what you're doing is you're inviting presence, the present moment. The only thing happening right now is you sitting here, breathing, listening to my voice, and recognizing your inner world. Your body begins to cleanse, releasing toxins and tension, anxiousness. You begin to balance and realign. You're in tune with the present moment, which is you just existing. You don't need to have a name or a job or a vocation. You're in essence just aware of itself. Okay.
That was lovely.
So
Go ahead.
very simple, very helpful. So whether you're a meditator and you sit at home and you find your quiet little space and you get your 10 minutes in, your 15 minutes in, that's all good. That's great, and I would highly suggest it. Whether you attend classes like mine or any of my colleagues or anybody else for that matter, that's wonderful. That's great. But the most important thing is that you're a human and you have a life and you have stuff, you have circumstances, you have to deal with people, situations, family members, idiots, confusion, fear, panic, particularly now in the global situation. So what we do, and if you read Eckhart Tolle, what we just did is we created space on purpose. We created space in the nonstop, incessant thinking that your mind does. 24/7, it's like a gerbil wheel. You're just going around, around, around. Hi, my name's Steve. I do this, I get a cup, I do this, I do that. And you take a break and you go within where you forget your name. You're just being, and it realigns you and it helps you release. Doing that numerous times a day is very, very helpful, and it's called mindfulness, and it's paying attention to your true, authentic self beyond your mind. You're literally the observer of you. So when you do this, and let me give you an example. If something frustrates you, if somebody says something to you and it gets you a little ticked off or annoyed or why this or what you could do, and I suggest that you do and many others do, is recognize your human self having a little issue, a little moment in which is causing you a tremendous amount of unease. Recognize that it's happening in the present moment and realize that it's your ego. Things aren't happening the way you want them to, not the way you expected. So what we do is first realize that, and then choose, because you have free will, not to sit in that for any extended periods of time, because some people will sit in it for hours, days, weeks, and they're still pissed off a month later of something that happened a month ago. That's their choice. If they want to continue to suffer, go ahead. However, when you do recognize this, it's a vibration. Everything is a vibration. So you choose with your awareness and your will and your authentic self, I don't want to bother with this anymore. So you shift, you take a couple of breaths, you feel this breath, and you feel gratitude, appreciation, compassion. It is what it is. So that particular situation that annoyed you was simply a message from the universe saying, hey, Steve, hey, Ellen, hey, Carla, chill out. We're reminding you to find that balance inside of you again. And here's our way of doing it. We brought this idiot into your energy field to piss you off and to make you annoyed. And it's just a message for you to, okay, let me check in, let me check in, let me check in. And this happens to each of us dozens and dozens of times a day. And the more you practice this, the more chill you are.
So what I feel, if you feel, is whenever we have resistance that we create, which is creating that feeling of anger, disconnect, it's really something that we have to resolve within ourselves. So it might not even relate to what's going on at the moment. It could be something from the past that's being triggered by what's happening in the now. So what we honor and respect, why we're feeling this, we realize, okay, what do I need to look at? Where did it come from? Now, what's beautiful is you can either do it on your own, but if you don't feel confident in that, you have a facilitator, such as yourself, such as I. What we are doing is we're here. As you have a production company called White Loader.
White Light 1111, along with Barbara Califano, yes.
Yes.
And we're all affiliated with, partnering up with a lot of different people now, which is really nice. But yes.
Right. So in alignment, it's almost as if you're doing the same thing we're doing, but you've been doing that for a while as well, like I've been doing with Aging the Beginnings. It's just highlighting magical ways with their own unique ways of helping somebody heal. You know, being that facilitator, being that person that's allowing you to get out of your way and allowing somebody to assist you in creating a healthier, lighter person, a happier person.
Right. Exactly. Now, the example that I used, Ellen, was very kind of silly, and it's just a little haphazard things. But we all know that many of us are suffering on a much deeper level. Loss, depression, self-worth. Now many people are experiencing money issues. I personally work with a group called The Beating Hearts, BEADING, which is featured in Newsday this past Sunday. It's a group of parents who lost their children to overdoses. Now, I could sit here and say, hey, you know, it is what it is, breathe and you'll get over. No, it's much deeper. These are much more profound soul lessons and soul contracts with our children, our parents, our grandparents, so on and so forth, that are much, much deeper and much more meaningful in our ascension process. We all belong to soul groups. So your family members, your parents, your kids, your siblings, and sometimes the spouses, we're all here in this life assisting, playing roles. Perhaps last lifetime your daughter was your mother, man. Now you reverse roles to assist each other in certain aspects of your soul's journey and growth. But my point is, mindfulness is very effective and meditation is very effective. And what I try to do, and I have been for a couple of years now working with this group and others, is to, just for short increments, to have these people who are really suffering in bereavement and grief, and to be able to go into their heart center and feel joy and feel love. And it's there. And have them understand little by little that their past loved ones are simply on the next stage of their evolution. Their soul is completely still here around us, just not in their physical form. Once they start to grasp it, they can actually feel their past loved ones with them, embracing them. So we do meditations that are based on that interconnectedness, and it's very healing and supportive. So I don't want you to think that, oh yeah, all you need to do is just breathe and all your problems are going to be solved. It's not that at all. It is a work in progress. And as you know, and I know, and Carla and all the others that we work with, this is a work. All of us are a work in progress. We're all trying to be a better and higher version of ourselves. That's why we chose to be here. So when we practice presence, you can gauge in the moment, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What's happening in me? What's happening outside of me? So that you can balance and make changes and course correct so you don't get overwhelmed and let all this stuff just continue to pile on, which many people do. And they feel overwhelmed, and that leads to addictions and things like that.
Yeah. I love how you're conveying it. Me and Carla have been up for days, believe it or not, trying to figure out kinks and things like that. So I honor and cherish you being with us and sharing it in the most very clear, exquisite way. And that the reason why we're doing, Carla and I, the 22 days of transformation is basically everybody's saying the same thing, but they might not hear it from somebody else. But the eloquent way that you're saying it, they might catch it. I mean, last night I did a show with the two grandmas, and we said the same thing. They were dressed up as being 96 years old, and they were doing it as two old Yiddish women. And they said in a
Absolutely
comical way.
fabulous.
So it's finding that way to release the resistance, to open up, to realize I am here, I can change my reality, my feelings are being validated, they're real, but if we can tune into ourselves, allow people like yourself and I to, or all of us who have been on the show, as a, how can I say, whether it's a facilitator or whatever it is, to help you through the process, because sometimes when it's new, you need to feel like somebody hears you. That's why I was going to do a medium line. I mean, Carl is a phenomenal medium, as well as I, and a lot of the people that you know and you work with and do things too. It's validating your soul. It's validating, I hear you, I understand you, it's real, and but we can shift this, but we can change this, and to quiet ourselves and ground ourselves and come into that awareness, into that higher aspect of living. I've heard people call it like the new earth living, that the earth is at a higher vibration. We're all more sensitive to connect to that incredible place of understanding. Yeah. Now, is there another technique or something else that you've also used to help people, how can I say it, ground or, I guess, cope with the times or something you might want to add?
Yeah. Simple. This is what I try to do, to ground, okay? As you know, I am a musician. I run that 70s band. I loved what I do. I love being a musician. It's part of who I am. I started playing at 7, and I'm 61 now, so it's a number of years. But the business aspect of it can be very challenging, very egoic, very negative, very So what I try to do is, and whether it's this or anything else, before, as I'm getting out of my car to go into a building or a situation, and I know there's going to be lots of people and lots of stuff going on and some challenges, protecting yourself before you walk in. And she referred to almost like wearing like a, you know how boxers get their championship belts on? You put on this championship belt, and it's got this big protective thing. I like to say, walk in with my inner voice telling me, I am love. I am love. So